Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Shepalle and I'm a trademark attorney. I help entrepreneurs and business owners legally protect their brands, business, and creative content with trademarks and copyrights. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about my 9 tips on how to start a legally protected business in 2021. So a lot of times we start these businesses and we invest in logos and we get nice websites and all of these cool things to start our business, but we never think about the legal side. What happens if we actually get sued? So let's go ahead and get into these tips. So tip number 1, you want to select a strong brand or business name. Now, the way that you can do this, the best way, is to make up a word and use that as your business or brand name, because that way you know that nobody has that name, right? But obviously sometimes you think you make up a word and you really didn't make it up. That happens to me all the time. But that is the best thing to do, to try and make up a name or try and make up a word to use as your name. You also want to make sure that you stay away from generic names and you stay away from descriptive names. So a generic name would be something like the wig store, for a store that sells wigs, right? That's generic because it literally just is stating what it is that you're doing or selling. A descriptive name would be something like, I would say, creamy for yogurt, because you're describing the yogurt. So those names like that are hard to trademark. Well, generic names cannot be trademarked. Descriptive names are very difficult to trademark. And so you just really want to stay away from those names. Once you have your brand name and you're like, okay, I'm good to go, what's the next step? Then you want to move on to doing research. Do your research, guys. The best way to do this, 1, is to do a simple Google search. So just go on Google, type in your name, type in the exact spelling, type in different spellings, because even if it's a name similar to yours, you still can't ever protect it and you can never get it trademarked. So you want to make sure that, just no one is using a name that's the same or similar as yours. Then you want to go on all the social media networks and you want to search and just search the name, see if it's available, see if there's businesses using it. There's been so many times where clients have come to me like, okay, I want to trademark this name. And all I do is go on Instagram and type it in. And I'm like, do you see how many other people are using this name? Like, you don't even want to deal with that. It's not, it's just be original, So just do a simple search on all social media platforms. The last thing that you can do is go on uspto.gov and do a trademark search. Now, I will tell you that you should never file a trademark based on just on this search. And it's because all of the results that you need to know if you can actually have a good chance at registering it won't pop up. When you type a name into the search, it only shows up the names that are pretty much the exact spelling. But what if there's someone that spell it different, or what if there's someone that added some extra words to it or something to make it different but still similar? In that situation, you'll still be denied if you file an application. So I would not recommend you file an application based on these results alone. However, it's a good stepping stone for you to get started. The best thing for you to do is really have an attorney to conduct a full comprehensive trademark search for your brand name to see if it's actually available. But if you don't have the money to invest in an attorney, that's perfectly fine. You can still do these things to just increase your chances on not building your brand off of a name that you could never own, okay? So that was the second tip. It was to do your research. The third tip is to register your business with your state. Registering your business is going to protect you. It's going to protect you from the debts and liabilities of your business. So let's say, for example, you're selling things online, or let's say you're a business coach and you're giving business advice online, and someone uses this advice and this advice, they use it to their detriment. They're injured by using this advice that you gave. Now they try and sue you. Well, if they try and sue you and you have an LLC, they're suing your business. And so your personal assets like your home and your bank account and things like that can be protected. Now, I do have to say that this is only the case if you are properly running your LLC. You have to keep I'll say LLC, but whatever, LLC is the easiest, but whatever business entity, if you do LLC, corporation, whatever, just make sure you're keeping yourself separate. You need to have separate everything, bank accounts and everything, just to make sure that they can't do something called piercing the corporate veil, which I'm not going to get into that. But when they do that, that means that they are able to pass your LLC and come and pierce it and go to you and get your debts. And hold you accountable and liable for those debts. However, if you keep everything separate, you run your business properly, you should be okay. And so in that situation, you are good. So that is why it's important to form your business entity, whether it's an LLC, corporation, or whatever it is, you want to do that. It's always good to speak with an accountant if you can, because an accountant can also help guide you in terms of taxes and things like that. So that was tip number 3, which was to register your business with your state. Tip number 4 is to register your business with the IRS so that you can receive an EIN number. Your EIN is employee identification number, I believe. So you want to make sure that you get that. You can get this for free, guys. Do not let anyone try and charge you to get an EIN. It takes about 10 minutes. You can do it yourself. I just go on Google and type in IRS EIN or how to get my EIN. Maybe I'll tag it in the description box so that you guys can just click the link. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, you can get your EIN for free. It's very simple and it takes a few minutes. So after you register your business, you want to get your EIN. So that's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is to get a business bank account. Now, getting the business bank account is going to help you keep yourself separate from your business entity. Like I said, you need to do this to make sure that you remain not liable for any of the debts and liabilities of your business. So get a business bank account. Use the business bank account for your business only, guys. And just don't be swiping it, going shopping and stuff like that. Don't use it for personal uses. Make sure you use this business bank account for your business only. I've heard that like credit unions are really, really good to use. I do not have a credit union. The bank that I bank with is very non-traditional, and it is an online bank. I do find myself to like online banks a little bit more because there are no fees and things like that. But I did hear that credit unions are really good, so that is another option. So yeah, that was tip number 5. It was to get a business bank account. Tip number 6 is going to be to file your trademark registration, okay? You can do this by yourself, but I definitely would not recommend anyone doing it by themselves, okay? And I'm not saying that just because I'm an attorney. You can go to me or you can go to someone else. I don't care who you go to. I just think that you should hire a professional to do this for you. However, in the event that you do want to register your trademark by yourself, you can do this on uspto.gov. But again, I don't recommend it. But this is a tip that you definitely need to do because this is how you protect your brand name, logo, slogan, if you have any particular colors that you use for your packaging and things like that, any sounds. So if you have like a jingle that you use all the time or that you use for marketing, you could trademark that. You could trademark designs, and color is really hard to get registered, but it's doable. But the main thing is to just start off with your brand name or business name, and then everything else that could follow. A lot of people ask me, you know, how soon should they do this? And I would say, 1, as soon as you are 100% sure that this is the name that you're going to continue to use, and 2, when you can afford it. I mean, because I can say do it right away, but honestly, if you can't afford it to do right away, then I can't say do it right away. But just whenever you're able, whenever you have it in your budget. But I would definitely say start budgeting for it now. Start setting aside money. Talk to the attorney. Start looking at attorneys. See the attorney you want to work with. Ask them their price, and then just start budgeting and planning around that price, just so that you can do it sooner than later. But really, when you're 100% sure you are going to keep that name, and then when you can afford to invest in the trademark. that's when I think you should do it, okay? So the next tip number 7, I think I actually have 10 tips. Yeah. I thought it was 9, but it's 10. Okay, tip number 7, copyrights. So if you have any type of creative content, so if you wrote a book, or if you do music, or if you have a podcast, or if you have a blog, or if you are a photographer, or if you are an online coach and you have like coach materials and coach courses and videos and curriculum and lesson plans, anything like that, you need a copyright, okay? You need a copyright. Now, there's a lot of myths surrounding copyrights, and people are like, I don't need to register my copyright because I have copyright protection as soon as I create it. Yes, that is true. You have some protection as soon as you create your work, right? However, in order to file a lawsuit and in order to recover statutory damages, which can be up to, so not exactly, but up to $150,000. So that's like your cap. You can also get attorney's fees paid for. So like if you have to hire an attorney, then the other party would have to pay your attorney. So those are awards that you can receive. That doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but those are things that you can receive. And then you can also receive actual damages, which are the amount of money that you actually lost. That is if you register your your copyright. If you do not register your copyright, you are only entitled to actual damages. You cannot sue, and it's much, much, much harder to recover. So the best thing is to just copyright your material so that you don't run into any issues. Let's go into tip number 8. Okay, number 8 is to invest in attorney drafted contracts. Whether they're actual contracts or contract templates, make sure that they were drafted by an attorney. There's a lot of contract templates on Google and on Etsy and things like that were not drafted by an attorney and really probably aren't enforceable. I've seen some that aren't really enforceable contracts. So you need to make sure that your contract is actually enforceable. There's amazing attorneys out there that have drafted contracts, contract templates that aren't very, very expensive. I do not do contract law yet. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but yet I don't do contract law. And I'm still going to tell you though that you should invest in a contract from an attorney, just because you want to make sure that your contracts are enforceable. What's the point of having people sign these contracts and then you can't even really enforce them because it's something that someone else Googled and started to sell to you? You know what I mean? So yeah, that is my tip for that, okay? So this tip is all about your website. You need to make sure your website is legally protected. So on your website, you should have disclaimers. On my website, there's a disclaimer that basically say accessing this website doesn't guarantee an attorney-client relationship. All of the information on this website is for informational purposes only, That's kind of something like what my disclaimer say. You also want to make sure that you have a privacy policy on your website. You also want to make sure that you have website terms and conditions and like a refund policy if you are selling things on your website. That's going to really help you with chargebacks. So you need your disclaimers, your privacy policies, and your terms and conditions or terms of service and refund policy, okay? Those are going to really help protect your website and protect you from like chargebacks and just a lot of other drama, okay? Alrighty. And the last tip, I feel like this is so long. The last tip, baby. Drum roll. Okay, you need a work for hire agreement. I guess I should have put this next to the contracts, but everybody needs a work for hire agreement. If you're hiring anyone to do content for you, you need a work for hire agreement. If you're hiring someone to create your logo, you need a work for hire agreement. Now, work for hire agreements are tricky because just because it says the work for hire agreement and they signed it does not mean that that was a work for hire. A work for hire is the easiest way to put it. A work for hire is if someone is an employee working for you in the course of your business. And then there's like 9 other ways that a work for hire will apply. In your work for hire agreement, it should say that somewhere in there, it should say something like, if this doesn't constitute a work for hire agreement, then it should be viewed as an assignment, because then if it's not a work for hire agreement, then you still get assigned those copyrights. So you need to either have an assignment or a work for hire agreement to actually own that content that you are paying someone to create for you. Because just because you're paying for it, honey, does not mean you own it, okay? It don't mean you own it legally. So you need a work for hire agreement. Just have one on deck. Have a template on deck. Have one in line. You definitely need this, and this is actually something I can help you with. So yeah. Alrighty, so I hope these tips were helpful. I hope you stayed to the end. I hope you took some good notes, honey, because this is really gonna help you have a legally protected business in 2021. Because in 2021, we are not having unprotected businesses, okay? If you like this video, make sure that you guys follow me on Instagram at Shep the Lawyer. I put out a lot of gems and content on this same stuff on my Instagram account. I also have a little TikTok, Shep the Lawyer. I also have Clubhouse, Shep the Lawyer. Yeah, so just reach out. You can also check me out on Facebook at the Law Office of Shep the Lawyer and like that page as well. But the main thing is Instagram. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.